Good evening. Tonight I'm not really going to make anything really special with a meal. I'm just going to make some pasta sauce using some ground beef and some onions, peppers, um, and an actual pre-made sauce, but I am going to be adding a lot to it. So the first thing I wanted to do was to go through proper dicing of onions. And I know a lot of people have difficulty with dicing onions, so that's the lesson that I'm going to be doing for the majority of this video. Now I've already taken the onions, several of them, and cut off the edges and peeled them, so I'm ready for this. Now when I teach my classes, and any of you that have been students of mine, you'll remember that when I tell you the best way to keep from crying is to not become emotionally involved. And the best way to keep from not becoming emotionally involved is to have a sharp knife. So make sure you sharpen your knife ahead of time. Okay. Now this onion, as you'll see, there's been a little bit more cut off on the side here because there was a blemish there I didn't really like. So I got rid of it. So after I've got this, I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut my onion in half, push some of it to the side. Then I'm going to start making slices, using my finger there to hold it together so that they stay together. That way, when I get done, I have a whole bunch of slices of onions that I am then going to use. Now the best thing about onions is that they're circular. So each one has a ring, and some of you have had onion rings, so I know that you know how they do rings. Well, if you cut it in slices the long way so that you can still see the rings right there, then when you go the other direction, you can then start just dicing away. Now, when I teach this in class, when I taught culinary at Purdue University, I used to teach my students that the easiest way to keep yourself from cutting your fingers is to do a thing called kitten paws. Okay, and it's a really cute little thing. So you basically just bring your fingers in like that, and that's how you hold it. And what that does is it gives your knife, as you can see there, it gives your knife something to lean against without the fingers being there. So you use that, and then you just go on down and you slice, and your knuckles keep the knife from actually cutting your fingers. It takes a lot of practice, believe me. It's taken me years to do that. But I've gotten so good at dicing onions that I no longer have to do kitten paws. But do kitten paws as much as you need to, and if people laugh at you, remember, don't become emotionally involved, and you've got a sharp knife. So, anyway, just keep dicing, keep dicing. I love lots of onions, so I've got about 4 onions here, but they're kind of small onions, so I'm not really worried about it. They'll be nice diced onions that I'll put into my pasta. A few minutes ago, I took some bulbs of garlic, added a little bit of olive oil to them, and they're in the oven right now roasting. So I'll have some nice roasted garlic to go into my pasta sauce as well. So yes, I am cheating with a jar pasta, but I'm adding stuff to it to make it more of my own, kind of a base to start with. So, and then I'll be adding the onions, which aren't in there. I'll saute the onions. I'll be adding peppers. I'll be adding some more diced tomatoes. I like a little bit of kick to my pasta sauce, so I'll be adding in some Rotel as well. Well, here we go, and as you can see down here in the oven, if I can get a good picture of it, my garlic bulbs are roasting. I'm going to turn those off because it looks like a couple of them are actually burning. And take that out of the oven. Because I think those bulbs of garlic, yes, they're looking beautiful. Oh my God, those bulbs of garlic look absolutely beautiful. Let's take a look at them. There we go. Look at that. Aren't those beautiful? Yeah. A little dark on that one, but that's okay. The olive oil it'll really release the flavor of those things once they're cooled down and I squeeze them out of there. So I'm going to continue with the onions. And again, after a while you get used to it and you get a way that you do it, and it's your way of dicing onions. So as I said, I really like onions. And if I dice too many onions, it's not a problem. I can always use onions for other things. I love making patty melts, and a good patty melt has a good grilled onion on it. Maybe I'll do a video of how I do my patty melts. Those hamburgers are really good. I also like to put onions in my quesadillas, and I love quesadillas, so there is that. Again, that's 2 onions down, so even if I don't use the full amount for the pasta sauce, I will be able to use it for other things, so I'm not worried about it. And that's pretty much why I buy so many onions. These 4 onions actually came out of 2 of the 3-pound bags of onions that I purchased recently. Again, because I go through so many onions. I also like onions on my hamburgers, onions in just about everything. Excuse me. So yep, always good stuff. And hopefully, if you're still doing this and you're doing it properly with a sharp knife, you're not getting emotionally involved, and you're still not crying even after 3 onions now. So, how we doing? We doing good? Alrighty, gonna pause it. Okay, so I finished dicing up the onions. I ground up my beef, and as you can see, I've already added in the onions, and they're starting to saute really nicely. So I'm going to let that simmer and saute for a little bit. I am currently working on the roasted garlic, and if any of you guys have ever worked with garlic, you know that it is much easier after it has been roasted to just basically take it and push the garlic right out. Just makes it really easy to do that. You've got these nice little pieces of roasted garlic that come right out, already ready to be diced up and used in whatever you want to make them for. And again, garlic is good for everything, so it's one of my favorite things. So, yep, that's what I do. Well, some easily. There's another one. Boom, boom. Oh, not that one. That one. That one. Well, basically what I had to do was, when I started this, I had to cut off the tops so that the oil could get down into the garlic and help it roast and cook the garlic, so that it's easy for me to push out with my thumb like that. So, makes good old-fashioned garlic. This one still has some of the peel on it, no problem. Just peel the peel off. And there we go. Yep. Got some nice garlic cloves. You know, there are recipes out there that say that you should only use 1 garlic clove, but honestly, 1 garlic clove is not enough for anything except maybe how to cook 1 garlic clove. And there's been debate over whether, you know, that example should be 2 or 3 garlic cloves. So, anyway, back to washing my hands. You should always remember to wash your hands as much as possible to keep from spreading germs and doing cross-contamination. Now, a few minutes ago, I washed my cutting board, because you should always wash your cutting board between different tasks. So washed my cutting board, washed my knife, got my knife. I'm gonna grab me some of this beautiful garlic, and I'm just gonna start mincing me up some nice roasted garlic to go into my pasta sauce as well. Garlic is great, and since it's already cooked and it's got some better flavor to it, it's actually easier to dice up. Doesn't take as much as what raw would be or refrigerated and stuff. So just mince it up really nice, get it looking really good. Some nice garlic. I prefer doing it by hand as opposed to putting it into a food processor. In actuality, I don't even have a food processor. I don't have a blender either, but that's me. Lots of different appliances that I don't have, mainly because I haven't found a use for them. Kind of old school that way. So anyway, not really sure how many cloves of garlic this is. It was probably about 5 or 6, maybe a whole bulb. So yeah. Got this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful onion and beef mixture going on over here. Smelling really good. And take my garlic, and I put my garlic in. I really need to get me someone to hold this camera while I'm doing things so I'm not just sitting there. But anyway, that'll probably be for the future. Beautiful, beautiful garlic in there now. Okay, so now we are complete. Here is my completed plate with some Parmesan cheese added on top. So what I had was some sausage and cheese tortellini that I had gotten from Sam's Club, and I boiled those up, and I added a little bit of sauce to them to keep them from sticking. Some people say olive oil, some people say butter. I like using a little bit of the marinara sauce because it's going to get marinara sauce on it anyway, and it keeps it from sticking. This is the result of my pasta sauce: beef, mushrooms, peppers, onions, the roasted garlic, some fire roasted diced tomatoes, some Rotel, and a jar of pre-made pasta sauce. So there it is, and now it's time for me to enjoy dinner. Have a great evening.